Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to another Control+M Presents. We're so glad that you're here. As a reminder, we are recording this session, so you're all on mute. So when question time comes along at the end of the presentation, you'll need to remember to unmute yourselves. Today, Jen Berry's going to be talking about commissions in Plex, how to have the system automatically calculate them, and methods of running them through accounting. As an aside, tomorrow is Jen's 3rd anniversary with Control+M. She's a multi-talented member of our team here. She started out in our food and beverage division and has effortlessly moved into taking on more discrete clients. She focuses a lot of her time on UX conversions, and because of this has become especially talented at shipping documents. So Jen, without any further delay, please take it away and tell us all about commissions.
All right, thank you, Patty, and good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you can join us for today's session on sales commissions. For today's agenda, I will be defining what a commission is, how and why to use commissions, as well as settings, setup tables, and commission record flags. I will then do a live demo to show you how to create commission records and what the commission owed records will look like after an order has shipped. And lastly, I will have some reminders and tips for commission use and setup. If you're not already familiar with commissions, they are a compensation paid to a person for generating sales. Typically, this is paid in addition to a base salary as a percentage of sales. Sales commissions are intended to draw the attention of sales staff to the importance of generating sales. More or less, think of them as incentives. Commissions may be paid upon the successful completion of a sale or upon the receipt of cash from the customer. Since it forces salespeople to assess customers' creditworthiness, the latter payment is the better option. A useful report, not only for commissions, but for invoicing in general, is the Shipper's Missing Invoices screen. This was designed to identify the rare occasion where a shipment has a timeout error and doesn't create an invoice. The screen has a quick fix button, which we can review at the end of the session if needed, but the report is pretty self-explanatory. If a shipper is missing an invoice, you just check a box on the screen and creates an invoice. It's hard to show because it's usually empty. Now, let's take a look at some settings that will be helpful when deciding how you want to set up your commissions. If you are wanting to only pay commissions when a customer has fully paid an invoice, then be sure you have the paid invoice only use setting enabled. This will only allow a commission to be paid on customer invoices that have been fully fulfilled and have a zero balance. The returns use setting will allow for the negative commission record to be added when a customer return is created. If you have scenarios where you would potentially pay commissions on orders that have already shipped, then you would enable the missing use setting. This would allow you to set up a new commission record that would then calculate commissions for old orders that have already shipped. If you would like your users to view their own commissions, then there is a permission. It's not a setting. This permission is called Commission View All. You will want to make sure they do not have this permission assigned to any of their security roles. If they do, then they will be able to view everyone's commission records. Commissions can be calculated based on a percentage of the line item price or a flat rate based on the line item quantity. The customer, address, part type, part group, and region are just some of the options of how a commission can be set up. You can also combine options together to have more specific commission records. Commissions do use effective start and end dates. The start date will be equal to the date the order was entered. You are able to have the GL account that you want to write commissions to defaulted on the commission record itself, You are also able to retroactively assign commission records to orders that have already shipped in the past, which would be basically creating the commission record with a start date in the past and then releasing those records on the commission's owed screen, which we'll take a look at this process in our live demo later. You can also set a minimum fee per shipment, which will take the calculated commission and compare to the minimum fee on the commission record. Whichever is greater will be the commission owed. For the threshold minimum, this is directly linked to the total commission calculated for the line item. So if your threshold is $25 and the commission calculation comes out to less than $25, there will be a zero commission record created and no commission is owed to the payee. Otherwise, if it is equal to or over the threshold, then your calculated commission will be owed. It is important to get agreement on the current commission plan before rolling this out. After all, you are impacting someone's pay. It's best to validate we have all requirements in writing and agreed upon before pushing this out to Plex. That's good advice when rolling out any new modules in Plex. You may run into some scenarios where you aren't quite sure how to set your commissions. And let me give you an example. Sorry, For instance, we had a client who sold a construction product that could be used above ground or below ground. The part number was the same for both purposes, which made the most sense in the planning engine. However, they only wanted to pay commissions for when the product was for below ground use. So what they did was have the commissions always calculate when that product was shipped. And then they would run the commissions owed report and compare it to the customer request on the order in order to know which commission records should be deleted. I've only seen this happen in one customer where they were not able to identify the commission correctly because it was based on the end use of the product. If you have any issues like that, let us know and we will try to come up with an option that will work for you. Before we get into the actual setup, let's talk about the process. We have a one-time setup for a payee, which would include the settings and setup tables, the user record and supplier record. And then we need to define the commission that is owed to that payee. Then the commissions engine creates the commissions owed record when an order is shipped or for bill and hold orders when the customer invoice is generated. And your commissions can be paid with your standard AP invoice paying process. So I have a slide here with some commission settings. I will not be going through each setting, but this is a reference for you to come back to if needed when you are setting up your commissions in your PCN. There are commissions that I did not include in this slide, which are the flag display settings for the commission screen. You can find those in the setting group called commissions. We have two setup tables required for commissions, the AR invoice status and the commission payment method. The AR invoice status table will drive which AR invoice statuses commissions can be paid from. I have mine set up to be payable for printed and consolidated statuses. So when my order ships, I can see my commission owed records, but I cannot pay them until the invoice has been printed or consolidated. Consolidated invoices are where you have multiple unrelated invoices going to the same customer. You can combine those invoices into one new invoice using the consolidation process. The commission payment method table is just that. It defines how you want to pay your commissions. In order for someone to be paid commissions, they will need to be added as a user in Plex. And it is standard practice to have them assigned to either the inside or outside sales role. The setting called commission roles drives which roles are available on the commissions owed screen payee filter. Without assigning roles to this setting, no one will be able to be paid. So this is an important setting to be aware of. The payees will also need to be added as a supplier in order to pay them in Plex. Be aware that as Plex rolls out the IM process of adding users, even though some of your payees may not be employees, they will still have to be added through IM and not directly through Plex itself. Creating the commission record is how you tell Plex what you are going to pay commissions on and who those commissions will be paid to. When creating a new commission record, you can set this up depending on your specific needs. You can use any combination of flags needed to achieve your specific commission goal. You can define by customer or customer address, which is very useful if your payee is getting commissioned only on specific ship to addresses. You can also define it by PO number to be very specific for those one-off commissions. Any fields that are left blank can be considered wildcards. You can get as granular as defining a commission by PO, or you can be as broad as commissioning all sales to a customer. So for example, if we put in the customer bill and hold Bob and left all the other fields in the detail section empty, then all the sales to bill and hold Bob would get commissioned to Jennifer Berry. Now, if Jennifer Berry was to be commissioned on all cheese pizzas that were sold, regardless of who they were sold to, then we would just put in the cheese pizza part number and leave the rest of the detail section blank. So you can see there are many ways to set your commissions up depending on those options chosen when you are creating the record. So now it's time to show you a live demo. I will be reviewing the AR invoice status table and the commission role setting. I will create a new payee record and commission record for that payee. We will then ship an order based on that commission record and take a look at our commission owed results. After we review results, we will create the AP invoice for the commission. As we know that most customers require a customer's invoice to be fully paid before receiving commissions, for this training only, we are not requiring this setup in order to save time. At the end of the demo, I will be showing you results for several different scenarios of commissions so you can understand how some of those options will work. So I want to start off with our setup table. And you see here, I have brought up the setup table, AR invoice status. The commissionable flag determines which status your invoice needs to be in order to create the AP invoice to pay your payee. If you do not see the commissionable flag on your table, you will need to drill into your maintenance link in your navigation bar to make sure that it is checked. So if we drill into our maintenance, and you can see right here, if it's not checked, make sure that that's checked. And then it will be visible in your status. As we drill into our status, you can see that that's visible and I have that checked. And I have my commissionable checked on my consolidated and my printed statuses. The next thing I want to take a look at is the setting called commission roles. Now, the setting called commission roles, this is where you will assign the roles that will be associated to your users who will be paid commission. Without these roles assigned, you will not be able to pay them from the commission owed screen. This drives the payee filter dropdown for who to choose when paying commissions. It is standard practice for Plex to use the inside sales and the outside sales roles in this setting. Now, let's move on to what a user record will look like for a commissionable payee. And I'm not going to create a new user. I'm going to go ahead and use one that I already have. And you want to make sure that your user is flagged for the roles of inside sales or outside sales. So for Jill, I'm just gonna go ahead and flag her as inside sales. So she will show up to be payable a commission user. And once you have your user set up, you also want to make sure that you have a supplier record created for them in order to pay out the commissions from the AP invoice. Now, I do have a supplier set up that's associated to my new commissionable user. So now that we have our setup table, the setting, our user, and our supplier set up, now I can go ahead and create a commission record for her. And I am at the commission screen. And I'm going to go ahead and add a commission record for Jill. I'm going to use my customer GE, and I'm going to also pull in the part number IZ310005. I'm going to pull Jill in as my payee. Did I not push save? My apologies on that. So now I can pull my payee in here. I'm going to give her a whopping 5% commission. I can also assign my GL account where I want my commissions to go to. I'm also going to give this a start date of today, and I'm going to give it an end date. Now, you don't have to have an end date in here. If you don't, that just means that commission record's never going to expire. But if you do put an end date in, just for this example here, this means that if there is a sale for the customer GE with that part number IZ31005, if any orders are entered after 12/31, that means that Jill will not receive commissions on it. Okay, I have my commission record. Now, after I have my commission record, that's when I can go in and anything, any orders that were entered today and shipped, she will receive commissions on. So previous to this session, I did already add an order in and get it ready to ship just in order for us to save time. So I'm at my shipping screen. I'm going to go ahead and ship that order. Now, remember, commissions are calculated at the time of shipment. So when I ship, that's when the commission will be calculated. So now that that has shipped, I can go ahead and go to my commissions owed screen. And I'm just going to pull up Jill and let's take a look at her commission record that was just calculated. So you see here, we have 100 pieces at a price of $50. 5% of my sales amount comes out to $250. So you see over here to the right, there's no button underneath of pay. Now, that's because my customer's invoice is still in a not printed status. And as you can recall, my setup is only payable for printed and consolidated statuses that I had set up on the AR invoice status table. So let's go in and print the invoice. And that way we can create that payable for Jill. So I can come into my customer's invoice, print it to make sure and did not take. Let's try that one more time. All right, so now that my customer invoice is printed, you see here, I now have a box where I can pay. And you're not actually paying the commission yet. You're just creating the invoice for the payable. So I can check that, highlight, and pay. Now, this is where that supplier record for your user will come into play here. We will pull in the supplier record in order for that AP invoice to be generated. So now you see we have an AP invoice that was generated today for the commission. We can look at that invoice by making sure that this line is highlighted and going up into your blue navigation AP invoice link. And this is the actual payable invoice for the commission record that was created for the $250 going to Jill. Okay, so now that we have seen our setup of our new user, the settings, the setup tables, the supplier, and we saw how when we ship an order that it automatically creates the commission record. I would like to go through some different scenarios that I have set up so that you could see how they work. So in my commissions owed screen, I have several different scenarios here. The first one I want to go through is a return, the customer return. So the order here I have, order number 82, I have a commission record of $12. So that commission record has already been created and it's actually been paid. We've already paid this $12 out. But we came in and the customer returned the product. So when a customer return is created in Plex, it will automatically create the negative commission record for that return. So this negative commission record can be placed against future payables to the commissioned user. And the only way that the negative commission will be applied or calculated is if you have that setting called returns use. My next example is for a bill and hold order. So if you remember, bill and hold orders will generate or will calculate commissions when the invoice is generated, not when the order is shipped. So it's a little different from, regular orders. So if you see here on my shipper number column, I have all of these shipper numbers. That's because these were not bill and hold orders, and the commission record was calculated at ship time. My bill and hold order up here does not have a shipper number to it because it has not shipped yet. So I wanted to show you that example, that it is generated, that the commissions are calculated when the invoice is generated. My next example is a flat rate. So a flat rate is based on the quantity that was the quantity that was shipped, and it's based on a dollar amount. So the commission record that I have set up was for Kevin, and I have it set up for whenever a part is shipped with the part group called food, he's going to get 50 cents on each unit sold. So my rate is 50 cents. And he has 3 different records here. He has breakfast, Ken's Pizza, and cheese pizza. These are all under the food group. The part group of food. So we have 50 cents times the 5 units that were sold would come out to $2.50 for his commission. And the same for the next example would be 5 at $2.50. And then we have an example here where we have 10 units that were sold at 50 cents. So his commission would be $5. So that's a flat rate commission. So we have our next example would be our minimum threshold. So I have set up my minimum threshold to be $20. So what happens here is the commission rate is 2%. But when that line item is calculated, if that 2% commission is less than $20, then there will be a 0 commission record created. If that 2% commission is more than $20, then the actual commission calculated will be what is owed to the user. Okay. Now for my minimum shipment fee example. So the minimum shipment fee that I have for this example is $25.50. So how this is calculated is I have Zach Farley is set up to get 5% for chocolate cake going to the customer NM. So when his commission is calculated, and if his commission is below the $25.50 that my minimum fee is, then the commission will be $25.50. So if it's below your minimum fee, then the commission equals your minimum fee. If the commission record is over the minimum fee, then the calculated commission is what is owed. Now I want to show you, the last thing I want to show you is the retro commissions. And before I show you how to do that, I want to show you actually the one that I have set up. Let's see if I can find this. I'm back at my commission screen because I want to show you the actual retro commission that I have set up. So I entered a commission record for the customer BTW for the part number B4B slip. Now I have Patty as the payee. She's going to get 4%. Now you see down here where it says created. I just created that 2 days ago. But my start date, you see, is back in February. So even though I just created this record 2 days ago, I'm backdating my start date. So what this will do is it's going to take a look at all of those customer orders for that part number back to February 6th. And then it's going to give you the option as to whether you want to pay commissions on those or not. So that's what a retro commission record will look like. You're going to be creating it, sometime like now, and then just backdating that start date. So when I go back to my commissions owed screen, you can see over here to the left, I have an add button. Now, the only way to get this add button is to use that setting called missing use. If you don't have that setting on, you're not going to see an add button here. So when I click on the add button, and I have my ship dates through from the first of the year until now, so it's going to pick up those February dates. I hit search, it's going to show me any commission record that did not go through automatically to the commissions owed screen. So these are commission records that have not been generated yet. So here are the three. These three are the ones that have pulled in from February 6th until now for that commission record that I just entered for Patty. But you don't have to choose all of them. You can just choose, whichever ones you want to choose. So I'll just choose the first two, because let's say, for this order, we decided she's not going to get commission for that. So once you check your boxes, and then you can say, okay. And I have my confirmation that it's been added. Now I can go back to my commissions owed screen and see that Patty's commission records for the customer BTW and B4B, they've now been added. So that's a good way, if you have shipments out there and you made a mistake and you forgot to put the commission record in, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? You don't have to manually figure out what your commission is. You can just go ahead, retro that commission record, and add them in after the fact. All right, so I think that's all I have for the live demo. So I think we can move on. I have a screen here that has just a list of pretty good reports that can be useful to you when using commissions. Now, I just added this slide for reference when enabling your commission reports for your PCN. We're not going to go through the reports. What these reports will do, they're just going to pull the data, based off of your commission records, based off of the commission owed records. So this could be just used as a reference, as you're setting your PCN up. I want to go through, some just reminders here. Each payee should be set up as a user and assigned the appropriate role of inside sales or outside sales. A supplier is required to be set up for each payee in order to pay commissions. And remember that you need to assign those roles to the setting called commission roles. That's very important. If you do not see any payees in your payee filter on the commissions owed screen, take a look at that setting. You may be missing a role in that setting. For bill and hold orders, just remember that commission is calculated when the bill and hold invoice is generated, not when the order is shipped. Customer returns can create a negative commission record that can be applied to the payee's next commission payment if you have the returns use setting enabled. Commissions can be paid when the order is shipped or when the invoice is paid. That depends on the setting. Paid invoices only use. If that is off, then you can pay open invoices. Otherwise, when it's enabled, the the customer invoices will have to have a zero balance and be fully paid. Commissions can be added after a shipment has occurred. You use the add button on the commission owed screen, and that setting is called missing use. The minimum threshold based on the line item calculated commission. If the commission is less than the threshold, then no commissions are owed and you will get a zero commission record. The minimum per shipment fee is also based on the line item calculated commission. If commission is less than the minimum fee, then the minimum fee is applied. Otherwise, the calculated commission is applied. So I think that wraps it up for today, and I think we can move on to any questions.
Hey, Jen, before we allow people to unmute themselves, I've gotten a few questions in the chat that I just want to run together. Jennifer asked if commissions can be tied to payroll instead of AP. I'm not aware of that being able to happen. Are you?
I'm not aware of that.
Nope, I don't think it is. Anna asked, what are the ramifications of deleting from a commission owed? And my response to her was that commission owed record is just gone. So if it hasn't been paid, it just disappears. If you delete the commission record versus the commission's owed record, then you could add the commission record back and retroactively calculate those commissions owed. And now Shara's just popped a question in here. We have freight added into the price of the product, but want to deduct the freight from the commissions. Is there a way to do that without impacting the invoice? That is kind of a loaded question, Shara, that I probably want to take offline. So Jennifer, do you want to talk about the testing that you did with price adjustments and discounts?
So there's a difference between price adjustments and discounts and the freight.
Right, but I'm thinking before we address freight, let's talk about that anyway.
Sure. So I did some testing. When you use price adjustments and discounts on your sales orders for your customer prices, I had done some testing and I could not get the commissions to calculate based with, taking those price adjustments and discounts into consideration. I looked through all the settings and tables and, everything that I could think of. I couldn't get it to work. I looked into the community and in the documentation, and I couldn't find anything written about that. Now, we did enter a case into Plex for them to confirm whether those price adjustments and discounts work or if they don't work, and we're just missing something on our end. So that's about as far as I got with the testing.
Yeah, and everyone just remember too, we don't expect to hear back from Plex very quickly because they're spending their time working on your issues, not ours, because they know that it's not stopping anybody from doing anything. But going along those lines, Shares, if you have freight built into the product cost, or I'm sorry, the product price, it may depend on how it's built in there, whether it's calculated. Let's say, for example, if you are selling, I'm just saying, if you're selling spices for $1 a pound and 90 cents of that is the cost of the spice and 10 cents is the cost of the freight using price breakdowns, then it's really going to calculate based on the whole dollar price. It depends on how you have the freight on the invoice. If you want, you can give me or Jen a call after this and we'll be happy to give you a hand on that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You bet. If anybody else has any other questions, please make sure you unmute yourself. I have everyone mute when you come in. Can we discuss mass update functions in the commissions? Anna, do you mean? Oh, go ahead, Jen.
You can. There is a setting for mass updating. I did not include that in our session. That's about as far as I can.
Ooh, I unmuted myself. The mass update only affects the commission amount, the fixed, and percentage. Do you know of another mass update, like to put in an end effect date?
No, I do not.
Okay, because I did put something out in the exchange for that.
Hey, would you be
not
willing
getting
to
a lot of traction?
Would you be willing to share the link to the exchange message in this chat, Anna? because I'm thinking that you're probably not the only one on this call who would vote, and you might just pick up about 30 votes if you send us a
Love
link.
it. I don't know how to add an exchange link.
Okay.
I got the number though.
All right. Exchange ID
22879.
22879. I'll see if I can't bring that up while we move on here. I don't want to lose. I don't want to tie up my internet. So if I start going real slow, you guys let me know. Hey, time to pay attention to the meeting again.
Thank you.
You bet. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one, and I think this was addressed already, but if we like make 200 sales to a customer a month and we only want to pay them at the end of the month, there's a way where we could just enter a date range and get one invoice, like one total for the 200 invoices. It won't be 200 separate lines in AP.
Yes, and I do
Is
believe
that correct?
you can do that, and that is a setting as well.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, there are
What is that setting
there's-
name?
there are several settings that I did not include in my slide. You should be able to find all of those settings under the modules of commissions owed or commissions.
So Jen, how about if you write up the instructions on how to do that, and then we can get it sent out. If you're interested, send us an email. And Anna, I think I just found your ideations. Looks like you've got 6 votes so far. All right, here it comes in the chat, everybody. It would be great if you could give it a vote. You're about to have 7 votes. There you go. You got 7. And I'll ask my team to vote internally. Now we'll just watch the score go up and up and up. Did everybody find that? Did everybody find that link in the chat? If you didn't, we'll include it in the comments of this when I send it up into YouTube. So I just want to thank you, Jen. Thanks so much for that deep dive. When you started working on this, I wasn't aware that retroactive commissions were a thing in Plex. And now, thanks to this information, I'm sure everybody on the call feels comfortable enough to start testing on their own. So, of course, if you get stuck, email Jennifer. Her email is on the screen. So, Jen, you want to switch to the next slide? So our next session is going to be held in 3 weeks. Amber Zancoli is going to be presenting the Plex Bill and Hold functionality. It's a pretty cool feature that we're seeing used more and more frequently because our clients are being asked by their customers to support their supply chains in more creative ways. So hopefully you'll be able to join us. I'm going to be processing this video and uploading it to our YouTube channel this afternoon. Please take a few minutes to check it out. There's over 60 videos of free training content available to you. And if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up or subscribe and spread the word. Reminder, these sessions are no cost or no obligation, and they're available to everybody, whether or not you're a Control+M customer. So thanks, everybody. Enjoy the day and make the best of the rest of summer. Take care. Great job, Jen. Oh, Jen said she's also going to write up instructions on freight charges being deducted before commissions are calculated. So that's going to be depending on how your freight charges are built in, whether it's a price breakdown or a price component, that type of thing. So thanks, everyone.